Welcome to So You Want to Be a Real Estate Agent. Are you evaluating your career in real estate? Feel like you're ready for a fresh start? Or ready to take your career to the next level? This is your podcast. Welcome to So You Want to Be a Real Estate Agent. This is season 6, and I am here with my co-host, Alicia Soikawa. Alicia, thanks for being here as always. This has been very fun recording these episodes with you. And we've gotten such great feedback already on what we're doing. So thanks for the kind words and thanks for all the listens. So today we are going to be talking about something a little more strategic, which is planning for success. And I think this is a really important episode, a subject that's going to give you a lot of traction if you dig in and listen to it. And I think we can all agree making a plan is crucial to anything that we want to achieve in life. We can have every idea come at us or out of our own minds. We can have ideas thrown to us. We can have aspirations and goals. But if we don't have a plan, and if we're not planning for success specifically, everything can just fall out from under us. It reminds me of, there was at Elite Retreat, which is the Tom Ferry event we both just attended. He did it. I don't know if it was him or Jason, or maybe it was Jimmy Mackin. But anyway, somebody had a funny graphic of, it was like a bicyclist, and he's riding along, and he was like, okay, this is the market that we just came through, right? Like he's riding toward the finish line. And then all of a sudden, last year, we hit this giant rut, and the bicyclist like goes head over handlebars straight into the mud. And he's like, okay, that was the end of 2023. And then he's like, okay, here's where we are now. And then it's the bicyclist, like, wiping his goggles off, just like so full of mud. But he's like, what just happened? So we all had, most of us who were in business, at least in this past 24 months or so, we had a pretty good run. Like we had some pretty good success. Did we plan for it? Not really. Most of us didn't. And most of us ended up in that rut with mud all over us. And now we're like wiping it off going, okay, one, what just happened? Two, how do we not have this happen again? And I think that's where planning comes into place. What do you think of, Alicia, when you think about planning?
I think what got you here won't get you there. There's a book called that. And I think the days that I have a plan, I feel accomplished. I feel I moved the needle forward. I feel that satisfied feeling when I get to bed.
Yeah.
But I think it happens, you would think it'd be that whole morning routine, right? The miracle morning. And it's not, it's the night before.
Oh my gosh, so true.
Right? Because if you stay up too late, I don't care how well-intentioned you are, if you don't get the sleep your body needs, you may be okay one night, two night, maybe 3 nights if you're a hardcore. I don't do that anymore. But if you're not getting the rest your body needs to regenerate and take care of yourself, you're not functioning at the highest level and capacity that you can.
Yeah.
You're probably short with people. You're probably not clear-headed. You're probably living on caffeine and not making good decisions. You're probably running on adrenaline, and your adrenal glands will fail. And there's something called functional freeze that happens in women because women are notorious for doing this. I don't know if you've heard about this. It's like a biological thing that happens. Didn't mean to derail our planning conversation.
No, this is an important part of it. Yeah.
And so functional freeze is something that happens in women, particularly, especially mothers. Think about how moms work. You have kids waking up in the middle of the night. Who's usually getting up with the kids? The moms. Not always. My husband gets up, so I'm going to give credit to that. It doesn't matter. Whoever the primary caregiver is getting up. Yeah. Who's getting up and shuttling the kids to school and doing the lunches and doing the last load of laundry. So you're not only not getting enough solid sleep, you're drinking all the coffee to keep you going. Mm-hmm. Then you're not drinking enough water and eating enough because you're probably running on, like, I got to go here, I got to go to there. And your brain is split on, I got to pick up the kids. I got to go show my boss this. I got to go here. I got to go there. Like all the things that are like, I got to do this. I got to do that. And women it's like the octopus, right? All the arms. Right. And then you're constantly being pulled, and then you're trying to be the best wife. And then you're also trying to look cute, but then I got to work out, and then I got to meditate and read.
Right. All the things.
Right. All of the things. So functional freeze is when your adrenal glands get so burnt out that you totally crash and freeze.
Your body's like, I just can't. I'm taking you down.
It just gives out.
Yeah.
So that a lot of times you see that on the weekend. Like,
Mhm.
let's say the kids don't have school on the weekend and you're like, I got 8 hours of sleep. I don't know why I'm so exhausted.
Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong with me. I just don't feel motivated to do. I have all this time. The day you have off, you just can't get anything done
Right.
because the adrenal gland is so worn out that your body is just like, I need nothing.
Yeah.
But then you berate yourself because you didn't do anything the time you had off. No,
Okay.
does that sound familiar?
Totally familiar.
Okay.
Totally familiar. So I heard you say it starts the night before. What else helps to
So
prevent?
sleep, making sure that you set your parameters for that wind down so you can sleep. So
Hmm.
that's where meditation comes in. I biocharge, I meditate. I typically, they say reading a nonfiction, a fiction book is better than a fiction book at night because when you read a nonfiction book, it makes you think about all the things you can be doing, right? It's usually for
Mhm.
business and
So
growing.
true.
But if you read a fiction book, it's like watching a little movie, but you're not getting jarred with the electronic coming at you.
Yeah.
Typically kind of makes you kind of lulls you, as long as it's not like one of the scary books. Don't read a scary book
No, Stephen King.
or a tragedy that's going to make you cry, or just like something like a light fiction, like a beach read, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what I would suggest.
yeah.
But planning the night before, giving yourself like, are you shutting your lights down in your house, or is it all revved up? Are you eating well in advance so your body's not digesting? Like planning your night before. So you looked at your business and said, these are the top 3 things I'm going to do tomorrow. This is the 3 things that I did today. What did I need to wrap up? Tying
Yeah.
up loose ends, getting that stuff done, closing the book, and being able to open up, start your day and be like, this is what I have for today.
Yes.
That's what
Exactly.
needs to be done planning the night before. So it's like setting you up to succeed the next day. Include
Yeah.
not just sleeping and eating and work, all that stuff. It's, did you finish the business at hand and did you plan for what's going to happen the next day?
Exactly.
Looking at your appointments, confirming all the things. Where do you need to be? What do you need to be wearing? Do you have the outfit ready to go because you know you wanted to wear this? Are you going to be running around the next morning looking for the thing that you need to wear?
Right. Right.
Right. And so that's what I mean about the importance of the night before.
That I think is brilliant. And two things you said. One was thinking about the 3 most important things that you're
Yeah.
going to focus on and kind of move the needle the next day. And you have to do this the night before because you know what happens when you don't? You wake up like, oh my God, what was you either remember it
Disturbs
in the
your
middle of the
sleep
night. Yeah.
and
Or
you
first
have
thing in the
that
morning.
restless, yep. And
Yeah.
then, or you can't fall asleep
Or that.
because
Right.
your mind is
Anxiety.
racing because you're thinking of all the things that you need to be doing. It needs to go
Yeah.
on paper.
Yes.
So that's when we discuss everything that is in your head I call it a brain dump.
Mhm.
So my coach taught me that, Coach Emily taught me that years ago. Let's brain dump it, brain dump before you
Yes.
go to bed,
Yes.
brain dump when you go to a conference because there's so many ideas swirling around. Just brain dump. It doesn't mean you're going to do it. It just means it's out of your head.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely. So do you use paper and pen to brain dump or do you have like
Yes,
an app that you
I
use?
do.
Okay. Okay.
For me, I'm a big believer in when you write something, you inscribe it into what it's going to be.
Hmm. That's cool.
Everyone has different feelings.
Yeah.
I don't care. You do you. I love technology. I'm all about it, but I
Yeah.
will never give up my piece of paper and pen.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a creative process that happens, I say, when you write something out in your brain that's inscribed.
Yep. Goes
And
from your
Tony
hand
talks
to your
about that
brain.
too. And I was like, yeah, man, you get me. Like, that's how I am. Like, I write, I mean, like I write and I have highlighters and I do all the
Yeah.
things, it's like, it's who I am. And it keeps me organized. It keeps my brain straight. If I had to go online every time to look at this stuff, I would get distracted
Mm,
going to the thing online to find
right.
my thing on here.
Oh, Alicia, you just made that is like a mic drop moment right there that I never even thought about. The potential of, and I'm guilty of this because I have a Google Calendar that I look at and just scroll
Mhm.
through the night before every night. This is like a habit that I will do. But I've had to teach myself not to
Mhm.
click the Facebook or the Instagram icon because if
It's
I
too
do that,
tempting.
yeah, then I'm lost. Like a half an hour is gone. Now I'm not going to bed. My brain's in a whole
Yeah.
different place and it's not settled anymore. But that's a great like quick solution to that is just use the pen and paper and put the iPhone to bed. Don't even have it maybe on your nightstand if there's not a reason you need it there, so that you've got a separation kind of too. Like you've got that piece is finished.
Yeah.
And if you have ideas, put them down on that piece of paper that's beside your bed and then shut it off and move on to the next day. Let your brain rest. That's good.
I think the resting of the brain is something so crucial. We don't do that today in today's society.
Yeah.
And that's where the genius comes, when you allow the quiet to happen and being still. You can't be still and rest if there's constant things coming at you.
Right.
And I feel like when you do go to the app, you can't escape the bubble. Oh, that person responded. And then you're texting and then you're like, what was I looking up?
Right.
I
Yes.
do that. I'm guilty. I can't remember what I was looking at. And then so you start on this, like if you give a mouse a cookie, right? Like that whole concept.
Yes.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
And so every Sunday, that's why for me, planning is so huge. And I always have that conversation with our coaching clients, the ones I coach through Tom Ferry, is that let me see your schedule.
Yep.
I love a Google Calendar. Everything is color coded. Everything is in there. It doesn't exist. That's where it goes right away.
Mhm.
But every Sunday and every day, I transfer it to my planner. I use a quarterly full focus planner. This is my sticker, but I use the full focus planner through Michael Hyatt.
Nice.
And I know Martin Freedom has the agent planner. There's all different types of planners. I don't really care which one people use, but just use one.
Yeah.
I had an Erin Condren when I first started because it was so pretty. But I like a quarterly one because it kind of matches the 12-year yearbook. I like that we look in quarters. It's not as overwhelming.
Yep.
It condenses it down. And this book in particular actually works through goals. So you have your yearly goals, your monthly goals, your how you start the day, end of the day, your rituals, and it looks at a weekly basis. So at the end of the week, you do a weekly preview about what were your wins, what could you have done better. It lets you evaluate how did your week go, right? And then also the week ahead and the preview, like what are the top 3 things you want to do the next week?
That's good.
And then on each day, you have your top 3. So it's 3, like, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, too many. That's how our brain works. 1, 2, 3, 4, too many.
Right.
Circus. If you think about that, everything's in 3s. The power.
Yeah.
So I literally live by this. And then when next quarter is coming up, actually, we're almost there, right? At the end of the first quarter. This week is typically 2 weeks in is when I start planning out my next book, which I have ready because I order them by the year.
What is it? What is it?
And so then what I always do is I put my family picture in here.
Oh,
Take that
cool.
as a reminder of what the hell I'm doing.
So you
Why
do
am I
this in
doing it?
every quarterly book. You redo like an inside cover of it. So
Mhm.
is there a theme ever, or is it?
No, I used to order them one at a time so I could pick the different colors. See, this is, and then I'll do this. That'll be my Christmas card for the year. So I take 4 of them and put them, and then the next year I put the 4. So it's
That's
a
so
current
cool.
picture, not something old. And then, so like this year I bought them all at once because I saved money. So that was smart in my mind. So since I saved money, I got the same color.
Okay, that makes
So
sense.
this will be quarter 2. This will take me all the way to quarter 1, 2025. And in quarter 1, I'll order 4 more.
Nice.
So I'm a quarter ahead.
Yeah.
So I'm not like at the end of the year going, shit, I need to order my books.
You know what's so cool about the way you operate is that you combine so seamlessly systemization and operational tactics with creativity. Like
You think so?
yeah.
I don't think it's really creative, but how my stickers, like this is our brand.
But like that,
Yeah.
the pictures of your family, even the highlighter colors, those things are creative elements
And
that.
I had stickers, like a big box of stickers and colored pens. And I used to do a lot more stickering when I had time, and the time has been escaping me, unfortunately. But yeah, and you said it tells you how to set it up. I mean, there's help with it, but you kind of just it's blank, so you number it, which is nice. And typically at the end, you always have blank pages because I always start the month. I don't let it run through. I start the quarter for one, like whatever that month. It's the month you start with a Sunday or Monday. So if it's a Sunday is 4/2, it'll be 4/2. It's the first week of the. So sometimes there's an overlap, if that makes sense. But I try to make it make sense. Otherwise, it's like it doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
because it's a Monday to Sunday calendar. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But I also do like book lists. There's a little pocket back here. I'm like selling this planner. I don't get it. There's no commission or affiliate, just so you know.
Maybe they'll send you your next.
And there's like you can put stuff in here.
That's so
I even carry around my poster from Date with Destiny in here.
Oh, that's
carry
great.
it with me. And then like if I do a class or something, I use the back for notes because there's typically leftover pages, right? Because sometimes the quarter doesn't end up to the exact numbers. And then because think about, we have short days in February. So things like that. But the cool thing is there is a quarterly preview even for the next quarter.
Oh, that's cool.
So everything rolls into what the next is going to be.
That's a fabulous system. And talk about planning. That's a great way to plan. And the other thing that I love about this element of planning is the ability to look backward and to
Yes.
review for a second. That's so powerful and something I feel like we do not do enough
I had
in
my
how
very
you
first planner from, I'll have to whip that out the next time, from 2015, about all the appointments I went on. I
ah,
save it. And also it's good for tax. So if you ever get audited and there's a
yes.
question, Google Calendar is great, but you have your notes on what you did and who, if there's ever a question of what you were doing, you can be like, well, actually, sir, this is where I was on this date. This is what I was doing.
All right, so let me take you in a little bit of a different direction, but probably the same sort of a theme about planning. So let's say that you have a big project or a big new idea, and I'm going to pick on your new big idea, which is
Oh,
your
yes.
YouTube channel. So
Yes.
Alicia
Yeah.
is working on her YouTube channel, and I don't even know what you have in mind for it, but I'm really interested to know, since you do have this kind of expertise, I'm going to say, in planning and a beautiful system for doing it, how do you apply that to something that's kind of different from what you've been
Yeah.
using for so far?
It's so interesting. I'm always reminded what was hard is becomes easy. Whatever is easy was hard at first, because I'm
Mhm.
really struggling in the piece of executing from the content piece to putting it on the screen, and
Okay.
the keywords and the and all the things that YouTube
Mm.
involves.
Yep.
Anybody that's doing YouTube. And I was inspired by meeting this amazing individual, Mike Sherrard. He's in from Canada, when I met at finance through Tony Robbins. And he was like, you should totally do it. Like, I was like, okay. And I come back and Michael's like, I've been telling you to do this. And now because this guy says to do it, you're going to do it. Like, like when someone else hears it.
Right.
So I had the camera. I bought the camera last year and I bought all the stuff, but I just never could execute it for some reason in my mind. So I got really good at short form, meaning I could figure out CapCut. I could do all the short form posting, and I still I haven't grown it to where I want to grow it, but I know part of it's the consistency. You have to do it all the time. So
Okay.
what I've done recently in my planner is put content as one of my 5 things to do every morning. So
Ah.
there's a reminder sometime during the day. It's at the top. So it's
Mhm.
meditate, biocharge, read, journal, workout, chat GPT. So I go online to play, and then content.
Okay.
Okay. So it's a reminder to me, don't forget your content for the day.
So are you
It's
time
a big,
blocking to create content or you just
yes.
do it? Okay, you are.
I am, to just like we time block to do the podcast, right?
Yep.
So it's never going to exist if it's not in the schedule somewhere.
Yep.
So it doesn't mean that like it's going to trump taking a buyer out or a seller out, because that's
Okay.
ultimately where our bread and butter is. But
Mhm.
if you can batch the content, so like if I come up with an interesting topic, I'm like, oh my God, I need to do a video on that. I write it down. I've
Okay.
used ChatGPT to help me with some ideas. I spent a lot of time in creating the content of what I wanted this channel to be about. So
Mhm.
it's really my name and my brand. So it's just Alicia Soikawa. So it's now YouTube does like the at, so it's at a Soikawa is the
Okay.
channel.
Okay.
And I literally have like one short. It's not, but the about is there. So the whole point is that it's going to be about empowerment, real estate mastery for
Okay.
beginners or people that have been doing it, holistic growth,
Mm,
and living a balanced life, like
nice.
the balancing life. So it kind of encompasses, and I have my link for Tom Ferry coaching. So if they want to learn more about Tom Ferry coaching, because I am a coach with him, and I'm not here to compete with that. I'm here to accentuate it,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
that makes sense, and
Yeah.
allow people into that world
Yeah.
that to understand that it's the whole thing. It's not just one thing or the other. You
Yeah.
can't have one without the other. Does that make sense?
It does
Thriving
make
real
sense.
estate and life. That's what it's called.
Love it. I love it so much. And you have a killer photo. Go check it out. Just if nothing else right now, just for the photo. But hopefully by the time this podcast drops,
Yeah.
you'll have some of your content in. And
Yeah.
it's so specific to how you live your life. People are going to take so much away from it. I mean, if you're taking things away from what you've heard so far, watch and see what she drops in her YouTube channel, because I know you're going to just be pulling stuff out of the air,
Yeah.
synthesizing, recommending things for people to look into, see if it's for them, just to expose them to different ideas. And then your mic drop moments, I know, are going to be amazing as well. But I love that you're doing that. So when you started this, did you have an end goal in mind? How, like, is that a part of planning for you?
My outcome for this is to influence, in the sense of not social media influence. I think that word is overused right now. It's more about affecting people in a way, there's so much yearning now for understanding and knowledge to get to the next level of wherever anybody is at. Like everybody's at different points in their life.
Yeah.
And if I can open that space for something to be like, oh my gosh, I want to learn more about that journey. Just like how I found out about Joe Dispenza was watching a Lewis Howell
Oh,
podcast.
yeah.
So it wasn't because I sought him out. And do you see what I'm saying? It kind of like I just kind of like went down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And so if I can be that conduit of, it's not that what I'm going to say is earth shadowing and new, and I will always give credit to where I learned it from because it's just who I am as a human.
Yeah.
But the greatest joy I've seen in my coaching time with Tom Ferry as a coach or as an agent, and seeing our agents that we bring on and grow, or like seeing assistants that come on, or my children, anybody that I see have growth and change in them, even in our mastermind, like seeing Deborah change and grow. Like I get chills to think about how the human body, the human experience, we are all meant here to grow. We're meant here to evolve.
Right. Yep.
Go into, right? To
Yes.
not stagnate, to be like, what's the next level? What's my next level? Not in competition, not in I want to be the best, and more of like, who's the best for me? How can I show up the best for me?
Yeah.
And when I see that realized in others, and they're like, oh my God, Alicia, you helped me so much. Like I had someone stop me at UPW that was a coaching client that I did not coach, just randomly in the ecosystem, was like, Alicia, screaming my name. We were walking. Deborah was with me. Oh my God, your time blocking seminar changed my life.
That's awesome.
I was like, what?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, thank you for telling me. Like, because sometimes we do things and we don't know if we help. We don't know. And so to get that feedback is so cool. And now with this ability to have a channel to help others, to see young women, especially. I just have a thing for young women.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up with that guidance. My mom was not capable of it. I love her to pieces. She's an amazing human woman, amazing, amazing person, but she just didn't have it to teach me. You can't teach what you don't know, right? So I went searching for this. And so for those of you looking and searching and yearning and knowing, there's a knowing that there's something more. And maybe I'm giving that to you. Oh my gosh, that's my dream. That's honest to God, my dream, whatever that may be. It may be being the best version as a mother, as an agent, as a business owner, as a plumber, as whatever you're wanting to do, as, a farmer. I don't care, whatever you do, designer, artist, writer, whatever it's not necessarily meant to be for realtor specific. However, that was my path that I took when I left and took that risk and from the corporate world and the safe, cookie corporate path of, I call it the Pleasantville life.
Right.
And I said, could there be more? It's like quantum leaping. That's what quantum leaping is when you say yes to the next journey.
Ooh, yeah. So
that's what this is about. I didn't mean to rant and to rave.
No, that's exactly what I was hoping you would share. And I think what you're showing us is that there doesn't have to be this like number, this like monetization, this number of followers.
It's not that. No.
The goal can be something so much more beautiful than that. And all the other things might just happen to come as a side effect of you giving, which you can only do when you're wealthy in the sense of being full as a person, and fulfilled as a human being. But this like next step, I just think is so beautiful. And I also think, not to say it has to be all about real estate agents, and certainly it applies to everybody who's going to listen, is going to get or visit your channel, is going to get a ton of value out of it. But I think it's especially useful for those of us in this industry because there's so much, we wear so many hats, and there's so much that comes at us.
Yes.
Can make us feel out of control, and that life is unpredictable and kind of just like at the whims of the market or the client or the economy or whatever. That what you found is a way to create like a foundation, to return to our last episode a little bit, that you can grow and build from, and then tons of resources to pull from. So what's beautiful is like you've got now, it's not just exercise. It's not just meditating. It's not just reading. It's not just being in a mastermind.
Yeah.
All the things, and you can choose what works for you. And sometimes those things change and evolve, but that you're giving all of that is amazing.
And it's okay to say, I changed my mind.
Yes, exactly.
I changed my mind. I want this now.
Yep.
And we need to give ourselves and everyone around us permission to change their mind.
Yep. Yep. So when you're planning for success, you're also incorporating the ability to change your plan if you want to. That's part of planning too. Is
say like, you know what? I did it.
Yeah.
I don't like this no more. I'm going to do, now I'm changing paths and going down this path.
Right. Right. Yes.
But you got to be careful not to keep doing that. Like that's where problems call because you're being lawfully. That's different. I think people are using that to justify like, well, I just changed my mind. Well, you changed your mind 4 times. Like,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Unless you're 20 years old, don't change your mind that much.
Right. Well, and I think too, when you do go down a different path, you do have to have a plan for where you want that path to take you.
Yes.
It's kind of like having that summit in your sights that, you know, it might be shrouded in a little bit of clouds, but you can see it. And therefore you're not wandering in circles, wondering where you're going. It's a clear thing. And I always say to my coaching clients that let's identify your summit now. It doesn't have to be your Everest, but what's the summit for you today? And what's the path to get you there?
That's beautiful because there's a lot of cloudiness right now for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I think when you think of planning, what is the outcome you want?
Right.
Not the vision forever. Like people get all caught up in your why. They're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
What's the outcome? It could be many outcomes, but what are they?
Right.
Right. That's really, really important. And we can talk about decision making on the next.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. I'll write that down. Okay. Anything else you want to leave with the audience about planning before we wrap for today?
I think just commit to it. And then when you make a plan, kind of follow it, people. Like don't spend all this time doing all this and then just doing it to make yourself feel good and not follow it.
Right.
Like that's stupid. That's called dumb. I'm sorry. I can't. If you're that person that puts all these things on your schedule and they're like, oh no, what happened? I just didn't do it. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. That means you're like a fraud. Like you're pretending that you want all these things, but you're not willing to do the work. And that's the whole concept. Jeff May said, you know, it work. Like do the work that you put on here and you said you're going to do. Yep. Don't put on there now we're prospecting and you're not going to do it. Delete it.
Right. Yeah.
Because you're lying to yourself and then you're going to beat yourself about it later, going back to self-worth. Let's loop it around again. Like, why would you do that?
Right. Yeah. No, you've got to execute. Tom always says that winners execute. And if you can't execute, you're not really committed. Maybe you need a new plan, but we hope that this has helped you figure out how to plan. Alicia, you shared great wisdom as always, beautiful tools that we can use, and hop over and check her out on YouTube. Tell
A Soikawa. It's so if you do A Soikawa at YouTube and search it, you'll find it.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, we will see you next time. This has been So You Want to Be a Real Estate Agent. Thanks for listening. We are so grateful you have joined us today. If you found value in today's episode, please subscribe to our show or share it with people that you think would benefit. And please remember to leave us a review or rating on the platform on which you are listening.
And if you've got questions about Tom Ferry coaching, have the both of us here, please contact us directly. We would love to answer your questions. Or if you're just curious, love to have a conversation. You can reach us at any of our social media outlets or shoot us a direct message.